If you're a fantasy and science fiction writer, chances are you are pretty familiar with the process of world building. And even if you don't write in those genres, you probably still know what world building is, or you've done it at least once or twice. And if you've ever world builded something before, I'm sure you also know how complicated and time consuming it can be. I mean, you're constructing an entire world from scratch pretty much, from characters to lore to history to magic systems to planets to animals to characters, all kinds of things that you have to come up with and keep track of, which is the most difficult part in my opinion. And that is why I have turned to Obsidian to help kind of streamline and organize my world building process. Because before, I used to keep everything in a Google Docs folder, which worked for a time, and I still reference it every now and then as I'm still migrating all my files from Google Docs to Obsidian. But one thing that I did find while I was using Google Docs was it's not very intuitive and I can't use it offline. And there's not that many ways and avenues for you to customize what you are world building your world in. And that's where Obsidian comes in and proves its value. And its value is free, by the way. Obsidian's free. This video is not sponsored in any way. I just love using this app, and I feel like every time I open my Obsidian vault for the Eternal Keyverse, I learn new things that I can do, and it just makes the whole process that much more enjoyable. And that leads me into my 3 key benefits of Obsidian, and I'm sure there's even more that I haven't discovered yet, but these are the 3 that I've really honed in on, and these are the 3 that really make using Obsidian super enjoyable. And that's organization, enhanced productivity, and it makes the whole process more enjoyable. Now, you're probably wondering, why should you even use Obsidian? There's different apps that you can use. There's Notion, there's Scrintl, there's Google Drive. There's countless other products and applications and websites that you can use to help you organize your world building, and I'm sure those all work just as great, but I personally like Obsidian for these features exactly. Its core features are that it's markdown based and it's customizable, and it is stored on local storage, which means that you can use it offline. And I do believe that there is a sync feature where you can have it synced to your mobile device. And the reasons why it's ideal for writers and world builders alike is that when you make your notes in your vault, because your vault is basically your large folder that holds everything for whatever project you're world building for, and when you make a note, you can create links between multiple notes, or you could have one central note and have much smaller notes linked to that one, and all those interconnected notes create a graph view that when you look at it, it looks like a large brain. I like to call it my second brain. Other people call it the Zettelkasten method. I'm not exactly sure what it means off the top of my head. I'll throw a definition up on screen. But yeah, it's really good for interconnectability, if that's a word. And when you look at the graph view, you can just see how many things are connected in your world, and you can easily navigate them all. And that goes into the third reason why it's ideal for writers and world builders, is its searchability. Because while you can interconnect the notes, you can also easily find whatever it is you're searching for by just searching for it in the search bar, or just by using the graph view. For example, I'm still building out my Eternal Keyverse vault, so I've already got a ton of files in there, and that's not counting all the files that I have yet to make. You can also make placeholder files for if you're not ready to fill out the note yet. You can just make a file, you put it in brackets, and then until you click the file, it won't make it until you click it, which is really cool because you can plan ahead for world building notes that you want to make. But if you currently don't have all the information, or you're just not ready to make it yet, you can just have it there. And yeah, it's really good for searchability. Finding things is really easy. And the last reason why I think it's ideal for writers and world builders over other platforms is the plugin support for customization, because Obsidian comes already with core plugins installed that help make everything much more smoother and just easier to use. But there's also community plugins, which takes the app into a whole nother level. And yeah, I'll get into some of those plugins that I personally use that helps make my world building experience that much better. Now, onto the plugins that I personally use that helps make my world building process easier and much more smoother. I'm sure there's other plugins that you guys can search through in the community portal to tailor your experience to how you want it to be. These are the plugins that I found make things a lot more fun and just makes everything so much more easier to use. Advanced tables is basically just for improved table navigation, formatting, manipulation, and formulas. If you're a D&D game master or whatever they're called, I don't play D&D, so I don't actually use this plugin too much, but when I do revamp my magic system for this universe, I will be using this because that's how I want to plan out that system. But if you guys ever need to use tables or, you know, formulas or just formatting said tables, this is the perfect plugin to use. Next up, we got perfect word count, which basically just counts the words of selected text, in the editor. Now, the base editor just shows you the amount of characters in a document, I'm pretty sure, but this allows you to, you know, highlight certain sections and then it tells you how many words there are or just stuff like that. It's a pretty small plugin, but it's pretty useful if you're planning on using Obsidian to actually write in. Next up, we got buttons, which is create buttons in your Obsidian notes to run commands, open links, and insert templates. This is kind of more of a cosmetic, just a navigation plugin. It's pretty cool. You can make cool looking buttons in the canvas document styles, and I'm pretty sure you can put them in regular notes as well. But if you want to make like cool buttons that link documents between other documents, or if you want to have a button linked to a website, I'm pretty sure that can do that too. And it can also insert templates. It's a lot of things the buttons can do, and you can make them look pretty cool as well. Next up, you got custom classes. If you're good with HTML and markdown blocks, again, I think this is a heavily used plugin amongst D&D players who like to world build their campaigns in Obsidian. This is a good one. I use it in my character sheets because I use Markdown and HTML in my character sheets for the charts. But yeah, another great plugin. This one's also pretty essential. Next up, you got data view. I won't speak too much on this one because I haven't used it yet, but if you need complex data views for the data obsessed, this one's your plugin. Next up, we got Excalidraw, an Obsidian plugin to edit and view Excalidraw drawings. If you want to insert drawings that are used in this plugin, this one's pretty darn cool. You can get icons and drawings that you can insert into your notes or your documents or whatever. Pretty cool plugin. Haven't used it too much yet. Most of these plugins I haven't extensively used because I'm still getting the hang of Obsidian myself. But I downloaded these because I'm pretty sure that I will end up using them in the future, and I just feel like there will be pretty useful plugins to have, and once I learn how to use them. Next up, we got projects. This one is pretty big, especially if you plan on writing in Obsidian, or if you have like a large multi-layered world like me and you want to separate projects by type or just separate projects by projects. The plugin is pretty good. It helps you plan things, helps you stay organized, helps you separate your projects so you don't get things confused. And yeah, this one's pretty essential for organization. Next up, we got ProZen. Enter Zen mode to focus on writing. This plugin expands the current tab to full screen, removing everything but content. Again, if you plan on writing in Obsidian, ProZen is absolutely essential, because when I first started using Obsidian, I found myself getting lost in just making documents for hours into the night, and that's one of the fun things about world building, but it's also one of the things that you have to be wary about, because world building can be a time sink. And for most writers, the whole point of world building is that you can have a world that you can start writing your story in. And the reason why ProZen is important is because if you plan on writing your actual chapters and scenes in Obsidian, you can block out everything and just focus on what you're writing and get rid of all distractions. And I just think ProZen is one that you absolutely need if you plan on using Obsidian the way I use Obsidian. Next up, we got style settings. This is probably the most important plugin, but like the one that you really don't see the most. It's not like an everyday use plugin, but it's the most important in my opinion. And basically it offers controls for adjusting theme, plugin, and snippet CSS variables. So basically with style settings, you can use templates for style settings for color and backgrounds and fonts and stuff like that. It's really just a cosmetic plugin, but it really helps you tailor the app into what you want it to look like. Next up, we got Templater. This one's another important one, just for ease of function, and helps you make templates for different file types and note types. I make templates for characters, for lore sheets, for anything that kind of follows specific formula that I just want to plug and drop information into without having to create the note over and over again. Templator is essential for this. You guys definitely want to install Templator if you plan on world building anything. But yeah, I'm sure there's more plugins that can be useful for your world building process, but these are just the ones that I use. So yeah, you guys can, pause the video or go back and see which ones you might want to pick and choose from. You guys can also go to the community plugin tab and find plugins that you want to use. But yeah, these are pretty much the ones that I use that helps make Obsidian a lot easier to use. Now, you guys are probably still on the fence about using Obsidian, and if you are, I don't blame you, because it does seem kind of daunting at first, but I'm just gonna take you guys on a tour of my Obsidian vault so far and just show you all the things that I've been able to do with it. So on the left side here, you can see I've divided my Eternal Keyverse vault into different sectors just based on all the different series I have in my world. I've got the Prime sector, which is the superheroes. It's got 34 files, 6 folders in here. The Maju sector, which is the magic sector, 50 files, 5 folders. I've got my Space Opera series in here, 9 files, 5 folders. Not really fleshed that one out yet. Same thing here with my historical fiction action adventure sector of the world, 3 files, 4 folders. And then another one for my the book that I was writing in the summer, Court of Rooks. So I've got 3 files, 2 folders here. But yeah, let's go in here. Got, I've divided into folders. I got lore, places, factions, characters. It's pretty much how it is for each sector. I've got lore files in here, different lore files. Got tables, there's nothing in there yet. Then we got places, nothing in here yet, nothing in there. One character sheet, nothing in there yet. That I haven't done too much in there. But next we got to the Prime sector. We got origins, we got factions, stuff like that, like places, characters, lots of characters in there, key events. I'll move on to the Maju sector. We got lore, a bunch of lore files. We got magic. I got nothing in magic yet because I'm actually working on revamping my magic system for this world. But yeah, you got all these lore files with images on top. Still got to flesh some things out, but that's kind of the fun part about Obsidian, is that you kind of never run out of stuff to do because there's so much to do with world building. And that's one of the main things that I love about world building, is that it never really ends, and that's just what I really love. I've got a prophecy sheet for my my fantasy series, and each prophecy member is linked to their character sheet. So like the Black Lotus is Thorian Todorov. I can click his name and it takes me to his character sheet, which is just really cool for ease of access and navigating your vault. And that's one of the many things that you can do with Obsidian. Got a city that I world builded for my Prime thriller novel. Got a whole city template that I used that helped me create an entire city, from the districts to government and politics to all kinds of things. And yeah, that's pretty much how I use my Obsidian. And I'll take you guys to the graph view, which is really cool in my opinion. Once you get a certain amount of files, it'll look even bigger. Like this kind of is not anything crazy yet because I don't have that many files in my Obsidian folder, but like you can just zoom in and see, like, look at how many things are linked to this one. More things. It's just really cool how you can like link everything, like so many links. It's like a spider web. It reminds me of like the Spider-Verse thing, but like this is so cool to me. And then certain things aren't linked yet, that's why they're on the outside, but like everything will be linked eventually. But yeah, this is the graph view. I'm pretty sure there's an animation that you can do. Yeah, time-lapse animation. This is so cool to me. Like it shows you from every note that you made and then every link that you make between them. This is just super cool. We're just gonna watch this for a second. Like look at it grow. This is just one of my favorite things about this app. Like you can just watch your world grow in real time, and you can see all the links made and how like the brain of your world is forming. Like you can't tell me this is not cool. Like look at that. This is insane. But yeah, this is pretty much how I use Obsidian. There's so many things you can do. You can create canvases. You can just drag and drop anything on here. So let me drop into my I drop all my art into these folders. So all the art that I have throughout the vault, I drop into these files. And for example, what if you just wanted to drop an image on here? You can do that. I don't know what some of these images are. They're just pictures, but like you can do that. You can drop text files in here. You can do all kinds of things. So yeah, Obsidian has a lot of functionality. I think you guys are going to really love it if you are a world builder or even just a writer who wants to write in here and keep all your information organized. Obsidian is a really good platform for all of those things. Now, if you're still a little hesitant about using Obsidian, I completely understand. And one thing that really helped me when I first started was just to start small. Create notes for your few core ideas for your world. Maybe you have a few central characters, a few central ideas. Just start small, create a few small notes. With the more ideas you come up with, you can create more notes and then link them together, and then before you know it, you have a whole interconnected web of like ideas and notes. And next, you want to use templates, because using templates can make creating your notes much faster. If I did not have the templater plugin, I don't know how much stuff I would have in here, and I don't even know if I would actually even be using Obsidian. So you can create templates for character bios, location profiles, lore, anything that you can think of that might need a template, you can do it. So yeah, you're gonna want to use templates for consistency and for ease of access and just for making things a lot more streamlined. And lastly, you want to link your notes to build your graph view. Now, while your graph view doesn't really do anything, it is really helpful to see how big your world is getting. And linking your notes just makes everything, it puts everything into perspective, and it just shows you what characters are linked to what, and like what characters belong to which story, or what world they belong to, or what setting they belong to. Linking your notes is just a really useful thing to do, and I encourage you guys all to do it. If you guys do end up deciding to use Obsidian for your world building and writing needs, I just encourage you to experiment with plugins. You guys can go back to see which plugins that I use. You guys can go and see which plugins you guys might want to use on your own, whatever might help you. Experiment with your own structure. You guys don't have to copy my structure. You can figure out how you want your layout to look, what different categories you want, what kind of folders you want, and just figure out how you want your vault to look to fit your style. Because at the end of the day, Obsidian and world building 2 is all about you. It's about how you take notes, how you want your world to look, how you want to compile your information, how you want to organize everything. And yeah, those are my 3 tips for getting started with Obsidian. So remember guys, world building is a journey, and Obsidian is just a tool to enhance your creativity, not limit it. I encourage you guys all to try Obsidian out. Maybe you guys won't like it, but maybe you guys will. So, just download it. It's free to use, really easy to use. Just check it out, explore its features, check out some of the plugins. And let me know in the comments how it works for you. If you guys already use Obsidian, let me know in the comments how you use it, because I would love to see how different people use Obsidian, because I kind of see it's getting a little popular on YouTube amongst writers and world builders. And yeah, just let me know how you guys intend on using Obsidian for your world. If you guys have any tips or questions for anybody, for me or anybody else who may end up watching this video, drop them down in the comments. I would love to answer them. Or if you guys could help somebody else out who might need help, that would be incredibly helpful. So yeah, just drop all your tips and questions in the comments as well. And if you guys would like to see any other videos about Obsidian, maybe a deep dive into my world, or a deep dive into the plugins, or just looking for more plugins, or how to make templates, or if you guys want me to release my own templates, I can do that too. If you guys are interested, also leave your thoughts down in the comments. I may make future videos on Obsidian depending on how this video performs. If you guys enjoyed this video or found it helpful, like the video, subscribe, and share it with a friend who you think can find this video helpful to them. You guys can find more videos about writing and world building on my channel. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you guys decide to check out Obsidian for yourself. I've been LDJ Writes, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.